Jetta, Jana. Listen, all right. If you hear any noise or voices in the background in this video, if you can have the willpower, disregard it. All right. So let me tell you a little something that has revealed itself for the collective's benefit. Okay, for the elevation of the collective. Okay. Let me tell you more about the meditation and why it's going to be more essential for individuals to meditate. All right, there's different ways. There's different ways that you can do it. All right, you can check online and stuff like that. So these these actually work on different fields. These definitely work on different ways to actually raise your vibration, your frequency, okay? So, let me tell you a little bit about my experience, all right? And moving into the higher octaves, okay? So, the basically, these energies now, when you start to meditate now they're going to, those energies are going to integrate into you. You're going to become those, and those that vibration. You're going to become that, and you can keep raising your frequency to where you're basically not going to be able to go back like to the lower frequencies. Okay, so it just kind of, when you meditate, you'll sense what's occurring. All right. So this being said, all right, some of you, the thing is, I've watched some teachers. Okay, they'll teach all about, this about history. Look, they did this, they did that. This about history. They did that. Look at this video. Look at that video. The thing is, are they even doing the work, the shadow work? Okay, because if you do not integrate your shadow, you become your shadow unconsciously. Okay, so basically, you become more of your ego and the one that projects everything on others and are basically addicted to struggle and suffering. Okay, basically that means your time's limited and you're going to be moved by karma to individuals that's just like you. All right, so now here's another thing. Okay, there is a split that's happening. Okay, some are moving closer to the source, and certain ones are moving further away from the source. Okay, further away, and those that move in alignment. Okay, so this being said, these what's coming 2026 are those that are getting, those that are getting so close to the source, they're getting fed, they're getting source fed. All right, so your and your how can I say, you'll start. Okay, this is about going to the fifth dimension from the third dimension. There will be individuals on the third dimension getting, further away from the source, so attached to this material. Okay, those that are going to the fifth dimension, you got, you'll have certain beings, fourth dimensional beings and fifth dimensional beings. Okay, so the fifth dimensionals, okay, going into the fifth dimension, okay, when they talk about fifth dimension, it's basically going within. Okay, your perception changes when you when you basically open your eyes up. Okay, so basically those that basically keep their eyes, just basically always looking out here, not really going within, basically they're dreamers. Okay, in a sense, so they're basically dreamers. Okay, those that go within, okay, awaken. So when you feel me, and the more you do it, you basically you start to, when you come out of, you'll be dreaming awake. All right, so now you orchestrate, you know the scenery in a sense. Okay, your light starts to shine. All right, so the ones that don't really do that at all, their power is going to dwindle. They're going to become very small. They're basically, or they're shrinking. Okay, they don't see what's coming. Okay, the universe, when the universe gets done with them, they'll be looking for healing and never find it. All right, because they move so far from the source. Okay, so the part of this whole thing is, this isn't about looking for people to kill. Okay, this isn't about hurting other individuals. This is about the healing energy. This is about healing yourself. You got to heal yourself from the inside out. All right. You start to heal yourself and get on your emotions, get on your, for me, get on your thoughts. However, you rest in stillness. You just be still. Like, look what the trees do. Just be still. All right. Now, here's a little something that I do that gets me into the mood of stillness. All right. Have you ever recalled, if you go back and get to the point to where, if you were inside the womb, okay, when you close, when these lids, like, kind of shut, visualize as if you're in the womb. All right. So now visualize yourself in the womb, because you got to know, all right, just because you close your eyes, it's almost like basically you're tapping into the Big Bang. All right. The womb, where all of creation started. Okay. That's where you go in home. That's where you tap into the home. Okay. You visualize yourself in the womb. Okay. Now, if a child was in the womb, what would they be doing? All right. Of course, they might hear the TV on, or they might, hear voices. All right. However, they're not attached to that. They feel safe. All right. And so when you do your meditation, just feel like you're in the womb. Okay. And like, you can hear voices, you can hear things going. However, you know that you're safe. Okay. Because you're inside the mother. You're inside, you feel me? You're inside of her. Okay. It's just a simple analogy. However, it's good to actually, it's kind of basically true. Okay. So this being said, just visualize yourself like, well, basically all you got to do is like close these eyes, shut these eyelids right there. And then go into, and just as though, like, just listen as you're like in the womb. Okay. And just all you feel is you're breathing. And do that as long as you can for like 2 to 5 minutes. Okay. So you'll feel a lot better. You'll feel like something has changed, and something has, because little did you may have not known, you're not the same as you're not the same you were 5 minutes ago. You won't be the same 10 minutes from now. Okay. We're always changing. Okay. Because you're going to most likely you're going to know more. Okay. You feel me? So the thing is, you're always changing. All right. There's no way around getting around change. All right. So this was a little scoop on basically knowing about getting in tune with your chakras and stuff like that, and getting into knowing those chakras and basically activating them by getting into the womb, because that's where all of creation began. All right. And then when you open your eyes, you dream awake. Okay. Now, what this actually does, it accelerates your manifestations. It accelerates things. You feel me? What you called it, what you have coming comes to you faster. You don't really have to, do too much. All right. When you be still, manifestations and things are going to happen to you a lot faster. It's going to accelerate. All right. Time is speeding up. Okay. There's going to be some amazing things happen 2026. All right. Now, there are going to be things, fortunate events for those that have been going within, in a sense. And, it's going to be the opposite for the other ones. All right. I love y'all. Stay accountable.